Hi, my name is BC Hoffman.
And I am Judith Jones.
And today we are doing potato latkes recipe war style.
Yes, we are.
Today we are doing head-to-head battle recipe war, and I'm going to be doing Jane Heller's recipe that Martha Stewart is making.
Yes, and I will be doing Emeril Lagasse's version of his Latkes.
Aha! So that being said, let's take a look at the videos.
Hanukkah, to me, is a wonderful holiday when family and friends get together. Children receive presents each day for 8 days, and when I was a child, I was extremely jealous about that. And everyone eats lots of latkes. Latkes are potato pancakes. I love them crisp with sweet applesauce and sour cream. And we have with us today Sharon Liebewall, who's here to share her family's potato latke recipe.
Potato latkes. Man, so excited about this. It's a food of love thing. And basically what I want to show you is that we took peeled potatoes, very simple. You want to use a high starch potato. This is an Idaho potato, but really a russet potato will work. You want one that has a good starch. Peel it, and then just with like a hand grater, you can either, there's all kinds of different ones. You just want to grate the potato.
So today for the latkes, both of our recipes are almost identical. Essentially, the keys for latkes, or potato pancakes, or box teas, or whatever you call them, they are a European tradition. They're throughout Europe, different variations, different names. So our recipes call for just basic potatoes, eggs, onions, salt, pepper, and flour or matzo meal.
Emeril says that you should use a high starch potato, so we're using either a russet or Idaho potato. And you can either hand grate your potatoes or you can use a food processor. But he also talks a lot about oxidation. Now, don't do your potatoes too much in advance and then leave them out in the air because they will turn brown. Like apples do, they will do that. So either, cover it with a damp paper towel, or you can leave them in water as we have done there. So we want to soak those out. I think we're both doing the same thing here. So we're going to squeeze the potatoes out of its water.
So again, you can just, in advance, you can prep these by literally just peeling them and then throwing them in water, and then grating them or throwing them in a food processor, whatever works easiest for you. We actually hand grated these, and that's what I'm going to be doing with my onion. Your recipe actually called for the onion to be julienne, which I'm a little jealous about, but I do like the actual texture that you get when you grate it. I don't like the tears that you get when you grate it, but I like the texture.
So I see you're draining your water. I'm actually putting mine in and I'm going to squeeze mine out.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, that works as well too.
Fine, let's do that.
I'm actually just going to dump my potatoes into the rag. Boom, like that.
So I want to get all that water and moisture out of the potatoes.
Squeeze it. You can also use a colander or sieve at home too. And just squeeze it right through there. It's a good workout right here.
Yes, it is.
Feel the burn! So when you throw it in the pan with the hot oil and you actually have too much moisture, it's just going to splatter everywhere and it's just going to be a mess and potential hazard. So you want to make sure you get it all out, and also it won't bind as well. So when you're actually making the pancake itself, it won't bind if you're using flour or matzo meal, in some cases sour cream. When I make them at home, I actually like to use sour cream as my binder and add shallots and chives to it. It's a nice touch. And then instead of using applesauce and sour cream, which is a traditional accompaniment, I actually like to make my own apple or pear chutney.
In lots of different countries, they use different things to top it with. They can do meat sauce, pork grindings. There's a variety of things.
Or caviar.
Or caviar, as Emeril uses. And my onions have been julienned, which has been cut in very thin slices. So we're going to add that to our potatoes.
If you're at home and you're like, oh, but I don't want to cry when I cut onions, there's a bunch of different ways you can avoid that. One is do it under cold water, have the water actually running, or just take your onion and actually soak it in the water before you actually cut it. Another is make sure you don't touch anywhere with your hands after you're cutting the onion, because that will also add to the tears. And another trick that I used to do as a kid, take a piece of bread, put it underneath your tongue when you're actually doing it. Not the most sanitary way to do it, but by all means, it stops you from crying like a big baby.
So we're gonna put our flour into there, about 2 tablespoons. And I have an addition of baking powder, so that's just gonna give it a little bit of poof when it fries.
Poof.
Poof. And then of course, to bind the whole thing together, we're gonna add in 2 eggs.
Actually, you know what? I was gonna go for one size, but I think I'm gonna go for 2. And I'm gonna have the smaller and the larger now.
And don't forget, of course, to season with salt and pepper. And by all means, go ahead and use your hands to mix all of that together, as he does.
Your number 1 tool in the kitchen, your hand.
That's right, so with my hands, I'm gonna bind all that together. That actually feels surprisingly good. I'm gonna heat my oil up because, as Emeril says, we wanna get the oil in the pan very hot, otherwise it's just going to stick to the pan. So, get our pan to a medium-high heat, and in goes the oil. We wanna put it up to about 1/2 inch deep in the pan.
I'm ready to mix mine now as well, so I'm just gonna throw my potatoes back in the bowl, drained of course. And then I'm gonna throw my onions, which I've nicely grated up there. I'm gonna throw those, and I'm actually gonna throw in the juice from the onion as well with it, just because that's a little extra flavor going right in there. And I'm ready to throw my eggs in. I've got 2 eggs, and then I've got 2 tablespoons of flour that are gonna go in there, and a 1/4 cup of matzo meal. We're gonna mix that up.
All right, mine's just about bound together. You can add a little bit more flour if you feel it needs it, but that should be good. So he takes about 2 tablespoons of the mixture with his hands, and he just creates kind of a patty. Now, if you want bigger ones, you can do bigger latkes. If you want smaller ones, totally fine, it's up to you. So once your oil is hot in your pan, then it's time to add your latkes. So just be careful for spitting oil. And you want to get it golden brown, maybe takes about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. So keep flipping it over so it doesn't burn.
I've got my pan going hot. I'm gonna throw my oil in so that way my oil will be nice and hot. I'm gonna keep a little extra oil right here, just so that way when I run low I can throw more in there.
And don't overcrowd your pan, of course, because the temperature of the pan goes down if there's too many latkes in there.
And another trick is, right away, before you actually start frying, make sure you have a lined pan and paper towel on top. So that way you will drain any excess oil, and it'll just be a nice way to press down, and you won't have such a greasy potato pancake. And these are gonna be served pretty much right away. So as soon as they're ready, let them drain a little bit for about like a minute or 2, and then boom, serve them up. Good, hot, and just crispy deliciousness. So you're just gonna take 1 spoonful. My oil's nice and hot, it's popping as soon as I put something in. I'm just gonna put it in there, and then I'm gonna just pat it down. So as far as formation goes, it's not gonna be the most beautiful round pancake, but it's just gonna have a nice size to it, so you're gonna have a lot of these coming out. So we just finished cooking our potato latkes in this head-to-head battle in Recipe Wars, and now it's time to see who is the winner.
Who is the winner? Let's do the taste test. Should we
do it.
start with mine or yours?
Let's start with mine.
Go for it. Okay, so we have some sour cream here and some applesauce. We want to eat it like that. And also my recipe called for a dollop of caviar, which we don't have, but we're going to do it the traditional way. All right.
Alrighty. Cheers.
Cheers. Ting. That's nice. Just the right amount of seasoning. I love the taste of the onion.
Yeah, the onion really comes out because you grated it, so it has that juice that just came right out when you grated it.
That's really good, BC. Well done.
You know.
Let me try with a little bit of sour cream, just so you know.
Yeah.
So the viewers can watch us eating, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because we already tasted this. We
Sour
already
cream
know it's good.
And applesauce, okay. Good combo, very good.
It's amazing how good it is without that stuff, and then when you put it on, it's just like, whoa! Amazing. Yeah, that was a Joey Adams. Let's try Emeril's.
Try it solo. It's good. That's not as good as yours. I will admit defeat. You can't taste the onion as much, and it's not, obviously didn't season it as much as you did. It's still good though.
I was gonna say, they're almost identical.
They're almost identical.
Minus the fact that mine has more of an onion pungency.
Right, exactly.
And this one you actually kind of can taste the baking soda and the flour in it.
Right.
Yeah, other than that,
taste the binding
they're
agents.
almost identical.
Yeah. Well,
That being said, they're both good, but
I think we know the winner.
Martha Stewart and Jane Heller, you have made me a winner on this recipe war head-to-head battle.
And
I
coming
appreciate
in
that.
second place is Emeril.
Yeah.
Bam, Emeril, you lost. There you go.
Bam! Please like us on Facebook, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter. Catch us next time on Recipe Wars!